What's good, everybody? You're now in the mix. It's your big dog K6, Chi-Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, and your girl Leah, aka the therapist. Let me run that back, man, because of course, you know, they now have new nicknames, ladies and gentlemen, because on this week's episode, it's about opinions. And y'all know these two. When it comes to opinions, it's non-stop, y'all. Alright, I just need y'all to understand that.
Can we reframe that? It is, you're right. Because
so it's Chi-Town's finest, Sharp, your girl Leah, aka Leah Bayless. This is episode 105, man. And this is a special episode for you Mixxeners, especially those that are new to us, because this week we will be celebrating 7 years being in the mix. The gang right here will be celebrating 5, because that's how long they've been rocking with me. Truly appreciative for them. Mm-hmm. Shout out to those that were always in the mix with us when we first started, when it was just a radio vibe, and then
come a long way from that.
A long way, man. And I'm truly appreciative every single time, man. I love my team. I love their ideas, man. I'm truly appreciative, man. Big shout out to Soul F and Classy, because she really been rocking with me for the longest, and I'm truly grateful for her at all costs, for her talents. Even though I used to want to get her on air, but because she didn't, that's when I just had to drag Leah on air.
Y'all both dragged me on air.
True.
Right? I wasn't supposed to be on air either.
Yeah. Now look.
Here we are.
Here we got Chi-Town's finest, Sharp. We've been making magic ever since, y'all. We've been making magic ever since, man. So truly appreciate you guys for rocking with us, subscribing.
You want to shout out your old members?
Man, of course, you know.
Yep.
Definitely got to shout out the old members, the gang from when I first started, man. Shout out to Seti, shout out to Tim, shout out to Chantel. And then from the teams that I've, had over the years, from BG, shout out to her, shout out to Delilah, shout out to Neek, shout out to Snook. Am I forgetting anyone? Nah, that's it. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. But if I am, I'm truly sorry.
You forgot Q.
Shout out to Q, man. It's always rocking with us, getting us in the mix with the lit mix. Oh, and Key. Thank you, man. So yeah, appreciate you guys always rocking with us for sure. It's always been love. So we celebrating 7 years on November 17th. But also shout out to the brothers of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, who will be celebrating 111 years on the month set. Y'all know how we rocking, man. Stop playing with us. We're gonna be painting the cities everywhere we go, purple and gold. Don't y'all forget it.
Extra.
Don't y'all forget it. Stop playing with us, man. But we come here, as y'all can see, we got the bottles here, the nice drinks. Y'all probably wondering what we sipping on. Shout out to Wine O'Clock, man. They always holding it down, of course. I believe right here I got a nice little rosé mix, so shout out to them for that. C got, of course, his non-alcoholic beverage.
Check it out.
As always.
And that Chicago glass right there, made by none other than
your girl.
So effing glassy. I keep trying to tell her to quit her 9 to 5 so she could be a millionaire, man. I'm trying to tell you. The girl's got talent. You know your girl Leah, aka Leah Bayless, she's sipping on. Y'all, she drank from the bottle. I just need y'all to know that's why she's right there. So effing classy had to go get her a glass. So effing classy had to go get her that glass, y'all.
Y'all ever look like the girl that drink from the bottle in this setting?
She's slurring her words, y'all.
Look.
She's slurring her words.
Right.
I definitely won't do that.
She definitely smacked the bottle.
Nah, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna say I wouldn't drink from the bottle. I just won't do it here.
No. We already know you.
Why not do
it? Cause
it's better to do it here than in the club.
I didn't say I would do it there either. I would do it at home.
Listen, y'all, she already did it, so.
Y'all such a
right.
So long this Tuesday.
She's slurring her words. She's slurring her words. What more proof do you need?
Shout out to Wine O'Clock, man. Of course, continuing with the shout outs, man. Of course, one half of the CEOs of Wine O'Clock, your girl Virginia Wilkins, is also being nominated for Makeup Artist of the Year. So ladies, if you're out there looking for a makeup artist and you're trying to get your face beat out there, y'all know the terms that y'all love to use.
So you gotta vote on Baltimore Crown Awards.
Say it with a little more enthusiasm.
The Baltimore Crown Awards.
That's your enthusiasm?
I mean, I don't know how more enthusiastic do I need to be. Go out.
Man, shout out on what? What's it called?
The
Baltimore Crown Awards, man, 2022. Go click that link and vote your girl Virginia Wilkins. That's the enthusiasm that we
She
need.
didn't have enough E.
Nah, she didn't. She is so rude.
And I gotta save my enthusiasm for later on the segments and the wind down.
Gosh, yeah, we definitely
We know who she's saving that for.
Right, we already know. We know who the energy is for, man. And of course, shout out to Rich King brand, man. As y'all can see, the nice decked out flannel, the nice decked out hat. Yeah, I don't want to say too much because every time we be repping Rich King, somebody be in the background huffing and puffing and whatnot. I ain't gonna say no names, but she's still trying to plot on mine. I just need y'all to understand that I still have it. She ain't getting it. I'm just letting you know that right now, y'all. She ain't getting it. But yeah, man, we got a dope show for you guys, man. And again, we appreciate y'all, especially with Thanksgiving around the corner. We are truly thankful for y'all. I need y'all to understand that. Because of you, we are thankful. But before we get into our wind down, man, we got to touch on something that's very tragic that took place at the University of Virginia. 3 football players' lives were taken away at the hands of a former. Not only was he a student, but also a teammate. Yeah. Took the lives, and he was also black. And we were just discussing on last week's episode, the gun violence and how we. When I say we, us as black people, we continue to take the lives of us. Mm-hmm. Why? Why do we continue to do this to us, man?
We don't even know what happened.
Can I assume and say, y'all know where I'm always going to go with this?
Well, you assume.
Everybody does
what you're doing.
Yeah.
You assume.
I mean, that's just an assumption. Again, we have absolutely no idea.
But I know.
Maybe he could have what do you call it? CTE?
When you assume.
That's what it's called for the
CTE,
injury.
But we're not going to say.
I'm not going to say. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know. So yeah, so we're not even going to jump into those speculations. None of that.
Not that it makes any better, but
it doesn't. It's just extremely sad, man. Very, very sad. Sending our condolences to the family and friends of those 3 athletes because that's just.
Extremely. It's cute though.
Extremely sad. Those 3 students whose lives were taken away. Devin Chandler, Deshaun Perry, and Lavelle Davis Jr.
Rest in peace to them. Condolences to their families and friends.
Yes. Sad, man. Very, very sad. It's crazy. It's like, this is episode 105, but I feel like we've done countless episodes. I feel like we're always doing like a rest in peace part. It's just crazy, man.
I definitely want to follow up on this story
specifically. Oh yeah, for sure.
When,
definitely going to stay in the mix.
Details surface.
Because we know where you want to go with it, therapist.
I really just not saying I hope for anything sad that this happened, but if that's a reason. A lot of people are not okay.
Yeah, but some people are okay, and just.
You're right.
So we can't always jump to that.
You're right.
That's just streets.
You're right. I can't say nothing to that.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very shocking. I'm surprised.
I don't argue facts. Only opinion. What's talk about?
Anyway, man. So yeah, as we get into it, because with our wind down and what we are about to discuss, it all really ties together. So this is actually good, and we're glad that you selected this wind down for us tonight. So y'all know we gotta dissect, of course, and discuss the album that we've all been waiting for. We got some entertainment for y'all.
Yes.
And we got to talk about. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna hand it over to. I'm gonna allow you because she been talking about it since 12:01 a.m. Friday.
Please, don't do that. I didn't drop anything in the chat that entire night until the morning. So I gave y'all, I let y'all live for the night. Because I was too busy at the stream party.
Oh, you let us live that night. But you was
I did.
You know it's bad when Aaron don't even respond in the chat.
You let us know you was in the streaming party.
I did.
Yeah, you
not
did.
Not the same night. The next day I did in the morning when I gave you a whole my whole take on it. But between the hours of 12 and 4, shout out to the Court of Hip Hop.
So go ahead.
Hosted a nice streaming party.
Let her get it out.
For Nas, King's Disease 3. If y'all have not listened to that album, please go stream it. You will not be disappointed as a hip hop fan. You will not be disappointed. I mean, right now it's been battling with Taylor Swift for the iTunes top 200 albums. It's currently number 1, and on the 40 hip hop.
Who listens?
Don't know. You said who listens to Taylor Swift?
I know you listen to her.
I've listened to Taylor Swift songs. Don't disrespect Taylor. Like there ain't nobody who had a number 1 through 10 charting on iTunes.
I'm sorry,
like, that's
just
crazy.
Me. I don't listen to her.
There was one person that almost had 1 through 10. He only had 9.
Eminem?
Nope.
Jack Harlow? Who I'm just giving all the right.
I'm not gonna say his name.
Okay. But
we know who it is.
Out the bottom. Yep, we know.
But yeah, so anyway, for the fact that he's number 1 right now, it's probably switching because it's been switching all weekend. But last I checked, he was number 1 on the hip hop charts and just the top 200. Man, KD3 was just immaculate album. I think it's the best of the KD series. I didn't think he could top King's Disease 2 because I wasn't here to give my review on King's Disease 2, but you did, and you did share that I thought it was better than the first King's Disease.
So that's something you guys can agree on, because Chi-Town's finest and I was talking before the ladies had pulled up, and he did say that KD3 was better than the other
1
two.
and 2.
1 and 2.
Thunderstorm tornado.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But I can see some people did say they like KD2. Well, what did you like better, Magic or KD3?
Now that's a.
Before we begin to the album, because this has been I gotta talk about a lot of what people were talking about over the weekend. Oh, we gotta tap into YouTube, man. YouTube is the business, but
I know about YouTube.
to like different people podcasts.
That's a good comparison. I like the Magic comparison more than the comparison to the other KDs.
I do, but there's a reason for that. I think Hit Boy has done them. Shout out to Hit Boy, real quick. Shout out to Hit Boy. I don't know, Nas is gonna be do Nas, but Hit Boy, to what you about to say, he has made the KDs all sound completely different. So you really can't compare. I feel like one was like the commercial of them all. I feel. He had like Fabio Foreign and who else? Anderson .Paak and Lil Durk on it. Very more commercial. Number 2 was just so soulful to me and just cool and like a brunch on Sundays, a Count Me In, a Composure, like those type moments, pressure, like all of those are a lot more laid back. But then KD3.
Man, listen, all I gotta say, shout out to Hit Boy, because I don't even know if another producer could have really like sampled.
You listen legit. You was so everybody's talking about that.
Yo, what? Everybody was talking. That's fire.
It was very fire.
That track was so fire. Like as soon as I listened to the album, after track 1 played, after the intro played, it jumped right into that. And I'm like, ain't no way, because 5 Heartbeats is one of my favorite movies. And if you haven't seen that in the black community, I really don't know, because that's really a classic for us. I don't know. I've seen it. See, have you seen it?
Right,
I know you've seen it.
Of course.
So
of course I've seen it.
I wasn't even going to put you on. I mean, you.
We talk about KD. Keep it going. What do you think about the album? We didn't talk about the 5 Heartbeats.
We talking about he sampled it.
All right,
and it was
he did
fire.
sample it.
And I feel like nobody else would have been able to kill it like that. So
But
shout
other than
out to that.
There's so much more to the album than that,
But yeah, I didn't say that, but that's one of my favorite tracks on there.
Okay.
Because that album, it was crazy. But yeah, KD3, start to finish, no skips. Definitely enjoyed it. But I know last week we were talking about, the trilogies. You were saying this was one of the best trilogies.
people were saying something.
No, you were one of the people because you said it. Did you or did you not?
No, I said the people said that, and that's why I posed the question, and I said educate me because I need to know what's considered. We were going back and forth about what's a trilogy, and that's how we talked about it.
No, I'm talking about last week.
I
You-
know.
you said,
No, I said people.
But
this is what.
beforehand.
But I can't say that when and I said educate me on what the trilogies were, which is what we were talking about. So I said this is how it came up because the people. Shout out to YouTube and all the podcasts I listen to.
People were saying.
People were saying that.
You were saying that the people were saying that.
Yes.
You also did say that if this album is great, it could be one of the greatest trilogies.
Yeah, but I also said to that point that I don't know. Educate me on what the trilogies
Yeah.
mean. That's what I'm saying. So
Two things can be true.
Okay, but I'm
You said
to that point that I really can't say that in conclusion because I don't know. That's why we're talking about it now.
Right.
Okay. So
Two things can be true.
first of all,
Don't
we
get
make
off Sawtone now.
before. No, I'm not. No. Because I'm not gonna not say what I didn't say. I said it could be, but then educate me on what a trilogy is, and we're gonna talk about it next week. That's exactly what I said. All right, but there could be other things too. That's why we want to talk about
I
it.
know. That's all he was
Ladies and
saying.
But
gentlemen.
before we even
Said
go
that
on
you
the
said
trilogy,
trilogy.
like there's so much other things to talk about the album. What were your favorite tracks on the album?
I was just trying to talk about that. And you were just like, there was so much more into that.
No, because you were talking about trilogies, but before, like,
No, I was talking about legit.
Reminisce is my favorite song on the album.
why?
Okay.
First of all,
Yeah.
it's just certain people that when you sample them, it makes a track, I don't know, 1,000 times better. It's like when certain artists get sampled for a beat or whatever, it brings a different side out of almost every artist.
Mm-hmm.
One of those people is Marvin Gaye. Another one of those people is Lauryn Hill. And another one of those people is Mary J. Blige.
Mm-hmm.
The Reminisce track, it was just like
Fire
something
track.
with that track.
It is.
He got in the bag that you would need him to get in. Over
Did you
that
like
sample.
the drill section? Because some people said it could have been without. I loved it. And y'all
It was-
know I
it was
ain't
cool.
drilly like that, but
It was
It
cool.
was cool. Like, it was cool. He could have did either or, but I mean, it was cool.
Nas over the drill type thing. That's the reason why I put KD1 in third place as far as the three of them, because that's not really what I would like for Nas to,
I
rap
can also
over.
agree with you. With
But
that.
Nas is good enough where it won't be trash. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool. It was cool. I liked it. I
Okay.
definitely liked it.
So you didn't like the bonus track then?
No, I did. I like the whole album. I like the whole album.
Oh, album was fire.
I don't even know.
I listen to it. I listen to it in every environment. I listen to it in my headphones. Listen to it in the crib. Listen to it in the car. Multiple times.
It doesn't sound so good in the
Facts.
car. It's probably my favorite to listen
I
to
ain't
it.
going front. I did the same thing. Like, listen to it in the car. Listen to it when I was working out at the gym.
Facts.
Listen to it when I was at home just chilling. Definitely enjoyed it. Definitely, that album was.
It's funny because I was just listening to Reminisce since I got here.
Yeah, that album was superb. I can't even front. Like,
What would y'all rate
superb.
that? And I don't know how many.
Out of what?
Out of 5. Mics. Typical rating? 5 mics?
I ain't gonna front. I'll give KD3 a 5.
That's a shot.
Why is that a shot?
Is it a perfect album?
Is it?
God, it's damn near perfect.
Yeah. Like, that
I
is
gave
a-
it like a 4.8. I maybe got like a 5 would have been biased coming from Leah Bellis, you
I
know,
was
but
gonna say like a 4.7, something like that.
Oh, for real?
But no, a lot
I'm
of people gave
sticking
it a
with my
5. No,
Yeah,
I think
nah,
that
that's-
it. I will say this on record, and unfortunately didn't make it for the 2020.
It's
two
not
Grammys,
easy to
but-
really make a trilogy album.
Nor with one producer and
Yeah.
17 tracks, no features. Who was doing that?
That's low key.
J. Cole can do that.
J. Cole has done. Well, not the producer part, but the.
I mean,
That's-
he's
by
done
himself.
albums, but if he did a trilogy,
Yeah.
oh, all right.
That's
J. Cole can do
well.
that.
He he did a mixtape trilogy,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's low key why I rated it so high, because the thing about because I'm kind of about to go into my rating of the 3 Kings Diseases.
All right.
But the reason why I put King's Disease 1 last, listening to the first King's Disease, it was good.
It was
all
good.
rapping. It was all good rapping. It was
Mhm.
Nas trying out some modern day sounds,
Mhm.
Yeah.
which I was like, that's not kind of what I want to hear. him do, but it was still good because again he's good enough to still rap. Like the fundamental basis to any kind of realm of hip hop, whether it's trap, whether it's the mumble rap, whatever, you gotta have some skill.
Love KD1.
I think
I know.
Yeah,
You can love it.
One wasn't sad.
It's a lovable album. It's for sure a lovable album. You know what I'm saying?
I
They
think
love it over KD too, which I
people
disagree with.
appreciate it more over what Kanye produced from. Kanye
sure.
just wasn't into it. And I
Nas
wasn't
to
into
Kanye
it too.
too. I do think that it was a rushed album. They think they did like a week or something. Kanye was doing Daytona. He had a lot going on.
Yeah, because that was another reason why
Yeah, he did
Taylor was.
Taylor.
She did his own.
Yeah.
He did that woman, him and Cuddy. He did.
So I mean, I felt like it was so unfair. I'm
Yeah,
glad
too
he
much.
came back for Hit Boy because that was so unfair to Yeet and Nas. I think it was just not it.
Nah, but
I can see to KD1 why people like it as much as they do. I understand it.
It's a very likable album.
But I feel as though you're gonna have that. You're gonna have that like back and forth with which one is better, whether it's 3, 2, or 1, or 1, 2, or 3, or 1, 3, and 2.
Go harder.
Because it's just like and it's kind of like with Lil Wayne with the Carters 1 through 3, because no one really talks about 4 and 5. But I'm not considering it a trilogy. But I would consider it. But
can you let me go? No.
But it's kind of like with the Carters 1 through 3. You might have some people that say Carter 3 is better. You know, will rank that number 1, and then Carter 1.
He would say more than 1 and 2.
But nah, like
then
Carter,
3?
1 through 3.
Oh.
Have you really listened to 3?
So I'm gonna be. That's what it's saying. So I gotta listen.
So to the same point about the trilogy thing, though, this is why I'm like, you know, the reasons why people would put one over that. It's
KD1.
It's almost, no, in any one, because you know how you can like an album for different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can like an album because it got a lot of hits. You can like an album because it flows very well. You can like an album because it was spitting crazy. You can like an album because of the concept. You can like an album because of the
But can you imagine when you have all that encompassed in one? That's what makes
yeah.
a great album.
But to that point though, you know, it's still like people would like those different versions over another version. So like with the Carter reference that he did, the concept of the Carter. You know, his name is Dwayne Carter. The Carter was the building that they sold drugs out of on New Jack City. He fit that theme the best on the Carter 1. The Carter 2, he was in a different bag, like lyrically, where people was like, this man is really probably the best rapper alive. People like that. Then the Carter 3 had a lot of the commercial hits. It was anticipated because of what the 1 and 2 did. It sold like 1 million in the first week. So people, whichever one of those reasons that they would choose, they might be like, that's why I said it's the best.
Right.
And it's all, but we like those kinds of debates because it shows how good the 3 of them are. So for KD 1, 2, and 3, it's like for KD 2, he pulled up and was like, it's a little bit, it's more Nas, it's like more of a modern day, because he's still talking about the same stuff he's always been talking about, which is why we love Nas. But it's like from an older perspective, which is
It was like that. Pour up a glass of cognac and just sit back.
the OG
cigar.
and then and then as it matured, because I like to say matured 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
As it matured to 3, he threw off no features. So I don't got no features. So now you get all Nas in what you would want. Like that's how you cap off the trilogy. You know what I'm saying? You can have the features on the first 2. You can dabble in some other sounds, but by you get to the third one,
Here's an interesting thing. If they did not drop Magic and they went straight from 2 to 3, I would be like, what if the entire fuck happened? Excuse my language. It's such a big jump. But Magic definitely kind of gave us an anticipation.
He dropped 2 albums last year.
He did, and 2 best hip hop albums of last year, shall I say? But it's my opinion.
Of course.
My opinion.
Of course.
Which is part of our wind down.
Yes.
So
The fact he didn't he dropped Magic, so we kind of knew what was coming on this. But when he dropped the gold bars for the cover,
Drop Magic. Wasn't that kind of out of nowhere?
it was I know he dropped it on the Christmas
Yeah,
Eve.
he did, but I'm trying to think. Did he say something about?
No,
dropping?
he just dropped it.
Yeah. Okay.
Christmas Eve, we were like, what the heck? Nas dropped a full length album,
Merry
like what?
Christmas.
So yeah,
Merry
I was such a Christmas gift for me. So I'm glad that he did that because we knew what to kind of expect. And like I said, seeing the gold bars, I was like, oh, this is about to be a rap. Like he's gonna be rapping on this.
I gotta go revisit that
Magic.
Magic versus KD3. That's
People
a
call it
comparison.
Magic more, but I feel like KD3 is more complete. That's why I give it over Magic. But Magic is solid. Like it is a
it's shorter.
5 mic is shorter.
Shorter, and it being shorter because there's some stuff on KD3 where it's like different sounds, and that's cool. But I like, you know me, some of my favorite kinds of albums is the ones that have one solid theme sound.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people like Magic.
Yeah, because it's that, and it being shorter, it's like you did what you had to do.
Yeah, Nas, you did the damn thing with a trilogy.
Yeah, so he
but
did.
This duo, Hit Boy and Nas.
Yeah.
So he did mention that Primo, that album might happen. Which I think about that is there are still people that's checking for a Primo Nas album. Like, are y'all anticipating that now that Hit Boy and Nas have done what they have done in the last 2 years? Or it's like, we could pass on the Primo Nas. They gave us some classics from.
I mean, that's like one of them things that it's like, because you've always wished it to happen, if it happened, you're gonna listen.
Oh yeah.
But the anticipation is not the same as it was.
Yeah,
when
it's
it
kind of
was
like
produced as an idea.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's kind of like how with Cole and JD Cole and KD been teasing at the fact that like they would do like a joint album for so many years. I feel like when it first was mentioned, it was just kind of like we looking forward to it. But now as we're here in 2022, it's just kind of like if they were to come out and say it, we're gonna listen.
But not be like into the.
But it's not gonna be like, damn, I'm waiting for
Yeah,
this.
now that we're on this, I kind of want to jump on some of the things that he did address.
I got a better one real quick.
Okay.
As far as anticipation goes, that pisses everybody off. Dr. Dre and Detox. He been teasing Detox for 20 years.
What do you feel about that?
I don't care about it.
Oh, okay.
That's the point. It's just like, bro, don't even drop it, bro. Don't even drop it.
Because it's been so long. Okay, and that's kind of how some people feel with
It's
Nas
so
Primo.
many eras of music that have happened since then. We don't know what we gonna get.
Right.
Yeah. That's also make it very exciting.
You gonna hear some stuff from 03 on there. You gonna hear some stuff from 2013.
Or he could just hit us with some all new joints.
He could, but then niggas gonna be like.
I think that's why folks really didn't like Carter 5. Because it was held so long, and he had songs that he made
over that whole time.
Yeah, you can tell it sounded a little old and just but
a lot of it did. You're right.
I want to address some of the things that Nas did address on the album. He brought up the Primo. He brought up Pete Rock. I mean, what happened with that? We don't actually know what really happened with that situation. All we know is Pete Rock is suing Nas for those unpaid royalties from The World Is Yours. I don't know what's going on with that situation, but. Yeah, he addressed that. He talked, he did a little jabby jab, but it was all in, jokes with Hov and the whole he be dissecting takeover.
I feel like they really do that shit though. Like I would.
You think some people they don't really be texting each other, but
they
do. Like I do think there's friendly competition. Why I say this because if y'all checked out Trevor is it Noah his interview he had with Nas yesterday, I watched it. He pointed out you watched it?
No.
Oh, he Nas began an interview pointing out that Jay-Z had dropped the Grammys, the picture when he did, when he dropped his album track list. So he was like, yo, shout out to you.
The first person to mention that Hov does shit like that when Nas drops was Nori on one of the Nas.
Now people run with that.
Was it Nori? It might have been a radio interview, but they was just like, yo, every time he drops on, he was like, word? He was like, I didn't even pee. He was like, y'all gotta call that nigga because I ain't even.
It's kind of close down. But I did like the Nas kind of just was joking about it.
But I think for them it's all. I don't think I know it's all love between them two because even when you really
I think it's competition, but I do think it's love.
Yeah, it's competition because those two actually really brought the best out of each other when it came to like putting out music.
Would y'all be excited for a Jay-Z album?
What?
I don't know, bro.
Why would you even ask that? Of course I would.
I would listen. Of course, I'll listen. I'm curious to know just because of the verses that I did hear from him recently. I do wonder what direction Jay-Z will take that next album. That's what I would say.
Well, I mean, if it's in any direction towards the verse that he dropped this year, God did.
I
think that it would be a great direction.
Y'all think that was a solid verse? It was a solid verse. Was it a
Definitely
great
was.
verse? Was it one that people were doing too much? They just want to take his best verses of all. No, it's not. And y'all know that.
The verse of the year.
Ooh, what?
Verse of the year.
I think J. Cole's Johnny P. Caddy's better than that.
You do?
Yes.
Cole's verse on there was
Jay-Z came, he was a little monotonous after a while, and then some of the stuff I didn't like some of the bars he did. I don't know.
I think Cole
did his thing on that one. I think that was
just kind of like, y'all niggas ain't gonna keep sleeping on me. I know I'm a conscious rapper and everything, but
Cole
really be wild.
But not even compare him to other rappers. Comparing him to himself, I don't think that's not one. They were saying one of his best verses from like all of like Jay-Z's career. Come on.
When you got that many best verses, that's a tough thing to say. But also, I think that the reason why people were saying that though is because, you know how Hov, as of most recent years, he might give us like one verse, maybe two a year. Mm-hmm. So because of that, when he really shows why he is who he is, people take that and go very far with it.
Too far.
I do think that it was. I do think it was verse of the year though.
I disagree with that. I think that maybe he cut the verse a little bit. This is mad long for no reason.
Nah, he said, "What are you gonna cut out?"
Matrimonian, the flow got a little, and I'm good. Like, I didn't think it was all that great for me, but it was solid. But I actually like his neck and wrist verse over that. I do. I
know. You know what's crazy about you saying that? What? Do you remember what you said when that verse came out?
That it was standard. It was. I know I'm talking about easy to remember the lyrics, but I like the verse better. I did say the verse was light, but I like it better. I did what I said. I said it was light. When you talking about I know what I said.
I'm not even gonna go there.
I like the verse better. I never said I didn't like that verse.
Okay.
I never said I didn't like that verse.
Okay.
All right.
I'm not gonna argue because.
Go ahead and say it.
Anywho.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, if Hov goes in the direction of that joint, like that verse.
Oh yeah, but
that's verse of the year for sure.
I'm curious to know what he would rap about. The stuff that he has been rapping about, I'm not that interested. I don't care about your billion Jay-Z. I don't care.
You know what's crazy about you saying that?
What was crazy about that?
But
what has been giving us that is like intriguing. I want to hear a whole album about. I'm sick of your billions, Jay-Z.
Okay, bro.
What else he's been giving us and how he started people? I just don't understand.
Did Nas give us anything different?
No.
But you know what he had? Here's the thing that was different. First of all, Jay-Z is so talking about himself. It's very self-centered. What are you giving us that's like, not like you said.
He talking about his wife?
It ain't even about him talking.
Who cares?
It ain't even about him talking about.
What do you want him to talk about?
That's why I asked.
I've been trying to figure out like you had like
start, bro.
I don't want him to talk about that stuff.
What do you want him to
There's
talk about?
There's so many things you can talk about. Social commentary. You can talk about politics. You can talk about that too. But I'm saying in the last couple verses he dropped, he's talked about none of that.
Well, do you
he
know?
He talked about himself, his billions, what he's done for people.
So what's
maybe because the context of the songs.
That because we gotta consider that, right?
Sure.
So if a song is called "God Did,"
so you say Hov did? You didn't even talk about what God. That is so egocentric. What the hell?
It'd be like you be trying so.
And to be, that's not egocentric to say Hov did. You mentioned, come on.
Hey.
Y'all don't be giving Jay-Z the critiques y'all need to be giving him. That is wild.
Get it out, bro.
That's very self-centered, but Jay-Z has that self-centeredness about him. He's been like that. He's very braggadocious. He's always been like that.
Did you hear the verse?
Yes, plenty of times.
That was braggadocious?
If you're talking about making other people billionaires, he started out the gate talking about what he did for people. That's not bragging? Or that's giving credit. He's giving credit to himself. That's not being braggy.
Did you hear the other verses?
I heard those two verses. We talking about what he dropped this year.
No, I'm saying the song God did. Did you hear Wayne?
Yeah, we did. I listened to the whole song. And I actually think that Wayne, minus the auto-tune, had the better verse.
Auto-tune?
Yes, he did have the auto-tune. If he did not have the auto-tune, it would have been solid. That's what he needed to drop off. He had the better verse than Jay-Z.
Are you sure you
didn't hear no auto-tune?
Yes, he did. His voice wasn't normal in that. Y'all can play it right now. Y'all can play the record right now.
I just want you to finish getting it out.
Anyway. Go ahead, y'all can play it after. But anyway, that is very the verse was very egocentric. It was all about Jay-Z. So the point Hov did is self-centered. Do you disagree?
I just feel like you're not a Hov fan.
It's not about not being a Hov fan. I feel like y'all be caping, don't give criticism where it's due. Jay-Z is one of the
face tats,
but it's saying Hov did. But y'all not answering the question.
Wayne?
That's why I need
That's
people
not
to tap
Brandon
in.
Ocean?
I need people to comment and tap in.
That's
That's
not.
not.
Oceans.
What? All right.
Say
It's- no,
Wayne's
it's not-
verse again. Say Wayne's verse again.
At least he mentioned towards the latter bars about what God did for him. Like he said in the last couple
again,
bars.
did you hear Ho's verse?
Yes.
So you never
Oh,
heard
Lord.
the part by Ho?
Go ahead.
You heard Ho say God did. Okay.
You, for the most part, you start out with Hov did. My question to you guys is that not egocentric?
Does everybody not have an egocentric?
Don't answer the question. Is that not
Um,
egocentric? You're making an excuse right now.
That's
Does
not an
everybody not
excuse.
have an ego? That is an excuse. That's a yes or no question.
That's not.
Y'all
If
are.
Nas did that, you'd have been like, oh my God.
No, I
that
would've said
would've
the
been
same
something.
thing.
No, you wouldn't
Y'all
have. No,
answer-
I've never
you are-
seen
you
talk
are
down
straying
on
from the
Nas.
question.
That's
Stay
not.
from the question.
That's not straying from
Yes,
it
it is
because
a
every
yes
rapper
or
has an
no.
egocentric verse.
We're
or
talking
something.
about specific to
It
that
doesn't
verse.
have-
So you're saying yes. That was egocentric. That's what I need. A yes or no.
Regardless.
All right, that's what I need to know.
Like,
and that's why I'm saying I
everybody
didn't
has-
particularly like that verse. Because
You don't
that's
like it
something about
because he
what
was
God did.
ego.
That's one of the reasons why I didn't like it. I said the other reason why I did it was some of the bars that he said, the Meek Mill thing, I didn't like that. I don't over the billion. He wasn't the only one who helped Meek Mill get out of prison.
Who else have we get up there?
It was so many other people involved in that. It wasn't just Jay-Z. He had other lawyers, other people that you know. Y'all don't need, come on, I read this whole article I can pull up.
So tell us who. If you
I just mentioned that there was lawyers that was involved with that. It wasn't just Jay-Z's hand. It was some other people that he knew. It wasn't just Jay-Z alone. I don't like it was just solely Jay-Z. It wasn't. That was a very egocentric bar. Did Ye and Rihanna come out of him, but did he make them billionaires? No, he didn't. They made themselves billionaires.
Did he say he made them billionaires?
Oh, they came out of my crib. Okay, Jay-Z, we get it already.
How when you
Y'all
try
be,
not to like
y'all,
someone?
it's not about, I'm not saying that I
Finish getting it
dislike
out.
the verse.
Finish
I'm
getting
just
it
telling y'all reasons why there were parts, why I don't think it was all that great of a verse that people are making it out to be, and these are the reasons
Finish getting
why.
it out.
But y'all can't even say it wasn't ego. You're making a point that everybody has it, but that's not my question. It was a simple question: was that egocentric? You're saying yes. What are you saying to that?
Mhm.
Was that egocentric?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, that's my reasons why I
You listen to it every day. You don't think that even with sports, you don't think that athletes have an ego.
Y'all have never said anything negative about Jay-Z. And I'm not saying negative to
Haven't?
point. No, y'all haven't. No, y'all haven't. Aaron, you are here. Have you ever heard these brothers, since we didn't talk about the NFL, from the conversation we had, they said anything negative or critique, and I'm going to say negative, critique anything about Jay-Z?
We ranked his whole entire catalog before.
Definitely.
Everybody's going to need a ranking. That's not, what are you saying? What's the point
What
of that?
do you
You
remember
want us
what we
to
said
say?
about-
I don't even. Like I said, I haven't even heard you say anything negative about Nas.
I
What we
said
said
Nas
about-
have had okay to mid projects.
And we just said that. He
I'm
just
saying
said.
in
He
the
just said.
conversation.
You just.
In the
Yeah,
conversation.
listen to what you just
What?
said.
Hey,
I said he had okay projects. He was just about to say, did we not rank his albums?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying in the conversations we have had on this show, we have not talked about rankings of albums with Jay-Z. We had it separately on the
You was just- what is the project? What is the
on
project,
the
Leah?
conversations we have had about Jay-Z on the show.
And we've had conversations about Nas, right or wrong.
What
My
are you talking
question to you-
about?
my
We talked
question
about
to you-
albums that we talked about with Nas. What else we talked about with Nas? I mean, his music, and the only thing we talked about was the Lost
And
Tapes
I-
too, and this.
And I mean,
You don't even talk about Nas.
is that only what he's given us, right? Is
The
music?
point, you're straying from the topic. The
I'm
point
not
of-
straying from
you
the topic.
are.
I'm trying to understand what
Because
you're...
the conversations that we had about Nas were specifically about his music, no?
So, aren't we talking about Jay-Z's music?
We have talked about
You were
other
just
things.
about to
that-
talk about his
no, we
projects,
talked about other
which are
things.
his albums.
We've talked about other things beyond. Jay-Z hasn't even dropped projects in the recent
What
since
is-
we've been
what-
on the show.
what are
We
we-
talked, the
Are
NFL
we
we
talking
talked about.
Are we talking about? You just said y'all haven't said anything negative. Are we talking about projects or
In
what?
general, I said with conversations we have had about Jay-Z on the show, it has never been anything with a critique with him. Period. That is what I said. Nothing. Y'all said about y'all anything about this guy just said last week off air, Jay-Z don't know how to work Twitter. What the fuck? And you stand on that.
Is that what I said?
You exactly said that because this man laughed at you. Now sit up here and lie.
What do you
Sit
want us
up
to
here and
critique
lie.
him on?
No. Say that. Did he not say Jay-Z don't know how to work Twitter? And you laughed?
Yeah.
I said that Jay-Z said.
You said.
Okay, this is the brick wall again. So let me know when you're done.
Just go ahead and finish. I'm listening. Why did you laugh?
Because of his comment.
What was funny about it?
So
No. What was funny about the comment?
Please explain it, bro.
I'm not about to explain it. So anyway, we was talking about trilogies, right?
No, it wasn't. For that comment. We were talking about the Megan Thee Stallion thing when he liked the thing. You like Jay-Z don't know how to work Twitter. What you talking about?
I said that Jay-Z himself said that he doesn't.
When did you hear this? Pull this up.
Back to the topic.
Fact.
We're talking about trilogies. Let's recenter us back to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We know how you get started and niggas can't stop. Back to the trilogies. KD3, good trilogy. We was talking about other trilogies. You mentioned the Carters, which she said is not a trilogy because it's 5 of them.
So
I can see that too.
I'm gonna say Kanye's trilogy, Fire,
College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation. I think as far as hip hop trilogies, that's probably the greatest one of all time.
Yeah.
The only other trilogies I was gonna bring up.
Well, I can't go back to. We got to go back to the '80s bag, so I can't fully say that. But if I go back to that far, then I can make a real statement on that. Maybe for our era, our time, perhaps. But people have mentioned some other ones that I'm
Which
like,
ones did
okay. They did mention like Eric B and Rakim. Then they mentioned.
They got a trilogy? What
Yeah,
trilogy?
they mentioned it. I gotta
What's
look
the
this up.
trilogy?
I don't know offhand. I'm just thinking about the rappers that came up, and those are the 2 that came up.
The rappers don't make. That doesn't say
The-
like what
Why don't
trilogy.
they?
I'm
It's
saying
just
it
the
doesn't name
albums.
the album.
I gotta,
so we
I
can
gotta go
discuss
back
it.
and think that. But
You're
to
talking
say
trilogy.
for us, for
Right.
our gen, that's Kanye is fair to
It's
say.
this Eric B and Rakim trilogy?
I mean, but we're talking trilogies in general, so it doesn't
Like
matter.
I definitely gotta
like,
go back and
it doesn't
Eric B and
matter the
Rakim
era.
got Paid in Full, Follow the Leader, Let the Rhythm Hit
who
You.
was else?
And
They
Don't
had,
Stop
they had some.
Protecting
They had some other old people, like not older
That's not a
rappers,
trilogy.
I should say.
I don't see an Eric B and Rakim trilogy. They got 4 albums. It's not a trilogy.
Well, then they
Even
can't
the
count
first
that,
3 not
no.
a trilogy, or the second 3, the other 3, not a trilogy.
Are we saying back to back to back?
No, we said trilogy.
So like, why do we consider Kanye that?
College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation.
They
see
all
the
fall
thing?
in line.
Okay.
They all fall in line with each other.
All right.
I was gonna say the other because I was just thinking of trilogies. That to me, I mean, if you can make a stronger argument for any other trilogy, I'd love to hear it. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I can't really confirm that just right now
I
to
feel
say,
like-
but I said that is a great pick.
yeah, I feel like you'd be hard pressed to make a stronger.
I won't
argument
say
for
that-
for another trilogy over that one. The Volumes was a trilogy. Volume 1, Volume 2,
Yeah.
Volume 3.
Yeah, that Volume 3 is trash. I like Volume 1 better than 2. Volume 2 is more commercial to me, but I like Volume 1 better.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. Again, that's why we gotta get in opinions, because everybody has one. Continue.
Are we just doing
Can't wait till we
albums?
get to that part. No, I wasn't just doing albums.
Oh,
Because
okay.
hip hop doesn't just consist of
I
albums.
was gonna say Fab.
Some people don't like to do
Take
albums.
1, 2, and 3.
That's a great trilogy.
People were saying just albums. People are not considering
The reason why I can't.
It's not a lot
confine it
of
to
people
just
that had
albums.
like trilogy albums, and I feel as though how you were looking at it, you wasn't comparing it as far like you was just
That's
looking
why I
at back to
said
back to
that.
back albums.
That's why I asked exactly, but people were not. I know people are not considering.
Nah, they gotta go. A
mixtapes.
trilogy is a trilogy. A trilogy just ain't
Facts.
3 albums that somebody put out. A trilogy is a trilogy.
All right, so then when people were considering.
we define trilogy already.
Okay.
The reason why I say you could put Fabulous in there is because Fabulous likes to make mixtapes more than he likes to make albums, because you get a different kind of creative control when you do that. And we do know that mixtapes are a very important part of hip hop, just like albums are.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that reason, I feel like you gotta include mixtapes too. You got to. Some people are better at mixtapes than they are at albums, and we
That's
still
very
still
true.
love them nonetheless
That is very true.
as an artist. Because that Fab will tell you.
I really want to be educated and do some more research on this. I truly just this whole topic. I think is a great topic.
Other trilogies,
Yes, and I want to
Yeah.
like really kind of like.
because you got some trilogies that stick out,
Yeah.
and they stick out for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm like, when you talking trilogies, there's certain trilogies that stick out immediately first. That's why I was like, volume. People say the Blueprints. The reason why I wouldn't say the Blueprints is because the Blueprint is like one of the greatest hip hop albums ever. The Blueprint 2 should not have even been an album.
Yeah.
Blueprint 3 was a solid project.
Yeah,
I like a solid project.
I like it better than 2.
Yeah, it's way better than 2.
Hell yeah.
Two was like an album that he made on some. I got some throwaway tracks from when I was making the Dynasty and the Blueprint 1, and also I'm about to retire with my next album, so I'm giving y'all these. Cause remember he had the Blueprint 2, which was double disc. Then he had the Blueprint 2.1, which was some other shit.
So out of volumes, which one do y'all like better?
That's hard. It'll be.
It's funny that you said 3 was trash, cause
I
3 was. I fucks with 3.
I don't like 3 at all.
I fucks with 3.
1 is my personal favorite.
1 is definitely good. I would probably say 1, 3, and
I think
2.
I could probably judge by the things that I be picking what kind of hip hop I really like. Like, just by me picking 1 over 2. Over 3.
Volume 1 had some of the first Jay-Z songs that I learned word for word. It has some classic Jay-Z songs on it. Volume 2 is a classic.
And popularized
it has some of
Jay-Z.
his,
Volume 2.
it's a classic. It has some of his most popular songs ever on there. Volume 3, I felt like set Jay-Z apart lyrically from everybody. There's a lot of songs on there, if you listen to the way that he was flowing and the way that he was rapping, there was nobody else doing it like that at that time. Even at the time, and that was 99, you had Eminem that just came around, DMX was on fire.
Yo, and him and X used to battle it out. Like him and X used to battle it out. Like even when you listen to
That was DMX year though.
Even when you listen to tracks that when they were featured on.
That's why I'm saying, man, it was for that to be DMX's year like that, and Hov still came through and was like,
Cause you gotta think too. That was around the time when Ja Rule was coming up too, and not to say that Ja Rule was on like a level with, X and Jay-Z, but I mean for X and Hov at that time, like to even be doing features with Ja Rule, like them two, they was neck and neck.
Wait, this is so sidebar real quick. Somebody dropped the top 20 coolest rappers. They gave, who was number 1? Snoop was number 1. How they give Fab 18? That's just like, that is a ridiculous list. Who gives Fabulous 18 out of 20 for coolest rappers?
I don't even know.
That guy definitely needs to crack top 10 easy.
I don't even know who made that list, but they smoking crack.
Well, I mean, if you got him at 18, who's the 17 people in front of him?
Oh, I had to
definitely
go through the whole
Snoop
list. I
top
had to pull
five.
up the list.
Snoop gotta be number 1 though. Snoop
Yeah, who's the top 5?
I can't name the list off the, I know Jay-Z probably made like 9. Nicki was on the list. Slick Rick was like 17.
If they got Slick Rick on there, they gotta have Daddy Kane on
Did they have Daddy Kane on there?
Gotta
You
have
had that
Daddy
Daddy Kane on there. I gotta go back to
Please,
that.
please, I know they got E40 on there.
They don't have.
Oh, they don't.
I ain't gonna lie.
I thought it would have been. I thought they would have had him on there.
I would put Notorious Big on there.
Big was on there.
Gotta put Big.
Big J and Nas is on there.
Gotta put Nas on there.
Again, it's all subjective. How do we define cool? They put Busta on there, but then they put DMX. Was DMX cool?
He was street.
Yeah, DMX got way higher than Fab. I was like, I think he's like number 5 or something. Like DMX wasn't cool to me. It's hard, but he wasn't like the cool guy. He felt like he just wanted to like be.
I think it was just because of like his. I think they probably looked at it like of his, like who he was.
I'm gonna pull up that list
He a
next
cool
to you
nigga,
and
like,
get y'all.
I could be with I could be around him because he gonna keep it real.
Yeah, but I wouldn't rank him cool. But yeah, so that was just a few people. I'm surprised Nicki made that list. I don't know why she did that. Anyway, but yeah, so that was just a sidebar to what we was talking about. But yeah, so that's really trilogy. I definitely want to do my like.
Kings of these 3 is a good trilogy. I'm glad Nas got one. Got a good.
He got a 4-peat though. You can't forget Magic. Nobody got a 4-peat.
That's not part of the trilogy.
It's not part of the trilogy. It's just part of what he's done in the last 2 years with one producer. Shout out to Nas. I am proud of you, Nas. I'm proud. He made me a very happy fan. So he decides that he never wants to do music for a little while and focus on his investment portfolios and all the documentaries that he's doing. I'm totally happy with that. Do we touch on the 21 Savage comment? I feel like everybody's been talking about it.
Ain't nobody can talk about it like that.
What? That was all on my timeline Monday.
Emphasis.
I mean, I'm just saying on our timeline, but it was definitely.
I mean, nah,
but Breakfast Club touched on this was definitely something that made headlines if they touched on it this morning.
We want to touch on it. We could touch on it.
You know, it's funny when it was in the Clubhouse. They were talking about Nas' new album, and he came out. She had the audio, but he came out and pretty much said that Nas was irrelevant, at least for kind of like this generation, and he kind of went on to say like. People don't like to dissect bars or music all the time, and then they would kind of go on and exchange like, what does relevancy mean? And they kind of had their, they were kind of going back and forth about that. But then, of course, people were talking about it the next day, and they were on his ass to the point that he had to come out and say, I wasn't disrespecting Nas, and which I didn't think he was disrespecting Nas either. I don't think he was dissing him. I think he's using
word,
correct word. To say about, but then to his point, some people would say if you're not in the clubs, you're not on the radio, if you're not seeing Drake numbers, you're not relevant. But to relevant to whom? The point of it is not even so much about what he said. I think it completely disregards an entire other generation of consumers of hip hop, because the younger generation isn't listening. What does it say about us? We are considering that older generation. So are we chopped liver? Like, do we not count?
So let's start with the definition of word relevant in the context of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. Appropriate to the current time, period, or circumstances of contemporary interest. I can see why he would have said that. If you listen to the current sound of like what's the most popular music right now, it don't sound like Nas.
But that doesn't, to me, that's what relevance to what? Hip hop? Or that's what I'm saying, what are we talking about? Not just the definition, to what relevance to what and to whom, like I'm saying. Does that consume, we are consumers of music, so what does that make us?
Right.
I guess maybe radio play.
But a lot of people don't listen to the radio, younger and old.
Right, so what
does that mean?
To that point, we know that in hip hop, there are certain groups that are bigger than other groups. We know this because not too long ago, there was a certain rapper, we're not going to say his name, but every time he did whatever his antic was, and he made a song, the song ended up going top 10 on the Billboard. And everybody was like, how the hell is this little colorful person always on the goddamn Billboard? Mm-hmm. And then you realize his demographic is a very large demographic of consumers in hip-hop. So you can't just ignore him and act like he's not relevant, even though there's a lot of other people from other I guess demographics in hip hop that don't like him. So I guess when they say in the definition of the word relevant, contemporary interest, they're talking about like the largest group of consumers in hip hop at the time.
So who makes that? Because like I said,
it's not about who makes that.
That does count. Like I said, because these people listen to 6ix9ine has a large following. Somebody else could say the same about X person. So I mean that goes both ways. It completely disregards
X person.
No, I'm just saying, just because 6ix9ine's large group of following and we don't listen to him, what does that mean for us? Just because we don't listen to music makes him more or less relevant.
It's not and that's why I say it's a numbers thing, because Nas has a staple. He's a staple in hip hop. He has a fan base of people that are always gonna listen to him no matter what. Like he said in the album, he could be 50, 60, whatever, he's still gonna have people that's gonna listen to him.
All right, you can forget that.
And for that, no, you can't forget that because it's a part of relevance. For that demographic, it's always gonna be there, so he's always gonna have some kind of relevance. But that demographic, as I guess time goes on, it gets smaller than it was. Even if you look at Nas.
So you're saying the younger generation drives music.
I mean,
is what you're saying.
If that's not
more,
that's
kind of like younger artists coming out, and it's just. But I think also too at the same point, it's just like.
It's not projected to also Gorilla though. She's a new one. So what are we saying?
There's no appreciation to the art.
Gorilla, yeah,
her album?
Yeah, that just dropped. Yes.
What's her name?
Gorilla.
Glorilla.
Jacking these new artist names up. But yeah, so like,
I mean,
what are we saying to that? And she's a brand new. People are, loving her
because she's different.
I mean, she's also.
My whole point is, even to his point.
She is
Nas,
brand new versus niggas been here for like 30 years.
Facts. I mean, also you gotta understand.
That's
too,
what makes
like,
it more interesting.
You got a lot of people who's just like, what Ice Spice? She's so trash to me.
But she's very relevant. Right.
Yeah. But again, relevant don't just mean new. Like relevant means it can mean like fairly new. Like let them get a foot in the game first and then start doing stuff because everybody was new at some point.
How could somebody drop 4 projects and not be relevant? Just off of that alone.
Listen.
Because you gotta understand too with this younger generation.
So we're we're just only focused on. So y'all say younger people make music. That's what we're saying. Yes, that's the argument.
No, what I'm saying is because I said it already. I'm gonna say it again. Is that there are different demographics in hip hop. They are all different sizes. One of those demographics is the biggest part of this machine that is hip hop that moves the culture the most. So whatever the biggest artist is or the people that are most relevant in that demographic, those are the people that get the most of the focus, aka most of the relevance. There are people that are still within the realm of hip hop and they still have a demographic. Because whenever they drop something, people want to live. They are relevant. It's not a matter of relevancy or irrelevancy as much as it's to his point, like you said, people not checking for the stuff that he's saying. And in the largest demographic of hip hop that's out there right now, most of them are not, and that's cool because Nas doesn't make music for them. The same way that people that listen to 21, they don't.
I guarantee you,
most of them don't listen to Nas.
That's. So that's what I'm saying too. I feel like he just used the wrong word. He shouldn't have used relevant. I understand what he was trying to say. I just think he should never use. I don't
even think he used the wrong word as much as he didn't. I felt like he even. I didn't hear what he said, but it seems like he did specify to which group Nas would not be relevant to.
Right. He was talking about his demographic.
Right, and so to his demographic, he's not wrong.
But we're speaking from a general standpoint. I'm saying by his demographic, he's only including his generation. But there's so many other different generations that consume hip hop.
But that two things can be true. Him saying that Nas isn't that
that's
relevant.
why I don't think I would have used the word relevance because
no. He can still use it. I'm just saying that, like, listen to what I just said again. There are different demographics. Not a lot of artists aren't relevant to other demographics.
No, I get what you're saying.
And so to that point, when we talking about relevance,
if he would have broke it down that way. Then everybody would have.
He probably didn't articulate it. He didn't articulate it. Now, see, that's what I'm saying. When I listened to it, I understood what he was trying to say. And I get it. So I definitely wasn't a knock to Nas. He did say, Jay-Z and Nas are the only two that can really, drop albums today that people will still be checking for. He said Nas makes, good music that has a loyal fan base. So he wasn't really dissing Nas.
So
I think that now, the dissecting part, I was like,
but if you said that he said that his demographic don't really listen to Nas.
But he didn't say it that way.
What way did he say it?
He said Nas is irrelevant. That's how he started out. And people were like, what do you mean by irrelevant? And also they were going back and forth. He's like, people not really like listening to his music. But I feel like he was talking about his generation. So he didn't really specify his generation. So I jumped off the window at first.
People know what they want to say, but they don't know how to specify because it's kind of like, oh shit, I now said this. And I'm just going to keep it flowing.
He almost was alluding to the fact of like the mainstream is not checking for Nas. He just has this loyal fan base and he makes good music. That's what he said.
Hey, honestly, that is very, very hard to do in hip hop. Like this is crazy because this is like the Drink Champs rhetoric where Nori is like only hip hop is like the only culture where people kind of just count you out if you're not.
Right, like this is what rock with country. Somebody said Elvis is irrelevant.
Nobody, they don't do that in other genres. It don't matter what. R&B, people don't do that. People don't do that stuff, and that's why shout out to Nori because he be like people he want to give them their flowers for that. I don't like the fact that people do that in hip hop, but the fact that people do that in hip hop, and the fact that there are still some people that have been around like 30 years and they can still make music and people gonna rock with it, it just shows how relevant they actually are.
But the thing is that like when you look at the artists that we love, like Nas or Hov, like they really have longevity in the rap game.
That makes you relevant in
I feel as though these
sure.
artists today, they're not gonna have that type of longevity. It's just not.
Yeah.
Well, the crazy part about that argument is that that's something that's not even determined by us.
That's very true.
Because
that's very true. But I know, like I know for me, I could be like, Yeah, y'all not gonna have that longevity.
And a lot of them don't.
I know.
And I feel
Like designer, for example. I mean,
we knew that. Like it's a certain level because it's like certain artists you can see when it's gonna be a certain way. Like when Cole and Kendrick and Drake when they came around, we knew they was gonna be there for the long run, and that was more than a decade ago. And we still see them here. We know that's.
Yo, we have songs that came out in like 2000, 2001. So I mean, you gotta look at like when Ja Rule was dropping. You gotta look. Yo, people still go crazy when they hear Crime Mob. Yo, like
they do.
I feel as though 15, 20 years from
50
now,
Cent spoke on it.
you're not really going to have like
50
certain songs. Like you might have Glorilla's song, "Fuck Me Free." 15 years from
She
now,
got a
that's still
Grammy
going.
now. Shout out to her.
Yeah, shout out to her.
I mean,
Glorilla, I rocks with Glorilla because she's different. She's kind of like that hardcore Southern girl with a little bit of like with some flow to her. That's bringing something different.
I know Nikki tight right now. She ain't got no nominations. But anyway, I know she mad. She don't. Let's not be surprised if she get a whole Twitter rant coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2,
You
1.
already know.
But yeah, shout out to her.
Don't nobody be paying her no attention, man, except the bars.
But all in all, like, I mean, I'm glad he came out, and he didn't have to, but he did come out and say really disrespecting Nas. But they were really they made a whole list of what 21 needs to do. Did y'all see that list?
I didn't, but
it was really funny. It was a lot of jokes, but yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a misstep. And I say it was a misstep only because nobody was talking about that. And that's gonna go into like the wind down because he kind of shared that opinion that was a little unwarranted because that was not the focal point of the discussion. They were just talking about the album, celebrate the album. I mean, my personal opinion with that, and I'll end with this. I feel like it was a little. I did like it was talking about celebrating the album, and it kind of, King's Disease came out, and her loss was, everybody's talking about King's Disease now. So I feel like
that's how it is. But I feel as though before we dive into it, I feel like another album that nobody's really talking about because of King Disease and everything that is kind of like overshadowing it, depending on who the type of music you listen to. Wizkid's album was fucking fire.
Oh yeah, that's a different genre.
That's a different genre, but that shit was fire.
Like Afrobeats.
I've had King's Disease 3 on repeat all this weekend. I've also had Wizkid on repeat all this weekend. Like that album from beginning to end, and this is another solid project that he put out that was fire. Like his previous album was fire, and this one is fire. Like Wizkid, Afrobeats, man, listen.
I will say this before we get into someone now, like because I dropped the best rap album, y'all seen the list for that. What do y'all think about that? I mean, it's good. We all know it's the Grammys, but what do y'all think about that? The categories for best.
I mean, the categories was K-Dot definitely gonna walk home with
they
that
might
one.
give it Jack Harlow.
Or Jack Harlow. The thing is that like when it comes to voting things nowadays, like it's a little bit different. It's kind of like I feel like you have the fans vote for certain things. I mean, maybe the Grammys.
No, that's not how it works. Their label submits the
fans don't vote for
fans don't vote for it, and then like the Grammy board goes through the submissions, and then they go through each album. Then they decide out of the submissions who makes it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Grammys ain't for us.
Because even
for us.
The real thing is
they don't know. I feel like they really don't know how to. They don't really listen to all albums. They probably just go off. They go off of popularity.
Yeah, I'm about to say because it's a lot of stuff that they take into consideration when they doing it. Like they take into consideration streams and chart placement, and they take into consideration sales. They take into consideration quality, all of that stuff too, and the balance. When it's like, say if it's like 10 different categories, we can know that these few albums outweigh the other one in every category heavy, but certain other categories not so much. So they kind of feel like they gotta put them on.
Very happy for Pusha though.
Harlow shouldn't even be on that list. I mean,
Harlow or Khaled,
is
what
really
was the other guy?
Is really better on feature. Like
he is
on his album. His features was better than him.
But that's probably why he got on it though, because of his features and the success of the album.
Khaled shouldn't have been on there.
Khaled had 1,000 features. He submitted his album did commercially going on.
And Khaled going like do whatever he can to get up on there.
It was two more though.
Shout out to Push.
Shout out to Push. That was
Shout out to
definitely
Push.
that was.
Because that album was fire.
That was the last one.
That album was definitely fire.
There was 3 on there that shouldn't have been on there.
But yeah, man. So you know the Grammys ain't for us.
Y'all know my go-to analogy for how the Grammys do.
Future.
Yeah.
Jesus.
My go-to analysis for how the Grammys go always takes me back to 2019 when it essentially came down to Victory Lap, Invasion of Privacy, and Daytona.
And they gave it to Cardi, right?
They gave it to Cardi. And you couldn't be mad that they gave it to Cardi.
Nip, though.
You couldn't be mad that they didn't give it to Nip or Push, because
we couldn't be mad.
I mean, nah, they wasn't mad. Well, Push probably was, but Nipsey was like, you can't be mad, because I mean, when you, like I said, it's a bunch of different categories you gotta check off, and even though we know as an album these two are better albums, it's a whole bunch of other stuff that Cardi did better.
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't. I don't think that should even count. I think just the quality of the album needs to be considered.
You can't not count them.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying, in my opinion, they shouldn't. I feel like what is the better rap album? What is the better rap album? That is what needs to be. That is it. What's the better rap album?
I mean, you know,
because you Soul Model Me is a better rap album. I think it's just that's why you're not gonna include some of these other artists. You never want to give them a chance if you're just going by popularity and streams. I don't think that's even fair. I think what is the best for me? What is the better album? That is when you're saying best rap album, but you're considering streams. Those two don't even correlate.
They do, but I see what you're saying.
I just think what is the quality in whatever you can, how you break, and this is the question I was asking you about, what makes a great album, and that's what the Grammys need to determine to put for the category.
Grammys don't know how to determine that though.
So we need to help them.
That's what I said. It's not. Grammys ain't
content, subject matter, lyrics, production, those type of things.
You think the whites is listening to all of that?
I'm sure some black people on the board.
I think it's stuff that I think a lot of the stuff is considered. But like I said,
the black people that's on there is the only reason why they on there. Again, it's the same way like diversity.
Yeah, if anything, I think they need to just expand the category. Like have other categories within the rap, like trap or this or that, and not just rap. And then you got everything that's any kind of rap under there, because you know, Future and the kind of music he makes should be in a different category.
I mean, when you really look at it, if they would have did like best,
I agree, but
if they would have did like best female rap album,
yeah, I agree with you.
They have a category for that.
If they would have split it and made it best female rap album, understood whoever Cardi would have went up against that year. Yeah, she would.
But no, because then people are going to say what you're saying, and the females can't go against the males, so that's going to split and divide the genders.
I mean, yeah, but also at the same time, like,
because Nicki would look at you like you crazy, like I'm going to go against all the niggas.
Alright, that's fine.
It's different. It's different.
Cardi's album wasn't better than Nic's or Push album.
Yeah, but we're not also doing that for R&B or pop or rock, so you know, I don't think we need to do it by gender, but I think they just need to do a better job as considering what is. If you're saying best, you need to define what best means. How are we gonna do that? That's how I think.
All right.
And yeah, so it was. What would y'all have said the album of the year? I mean, this is a juggernaut year for hip hop. A lot of hip hop albums came out this year.
I don't know.
That people would not know for this shitty list.
I would really have to go back and look at the list of albums that came out, and then be able to be like, all right, this was actually the album of the year.
I listened to a lot of.
They got 2 of them on there for me, so that's good enough.
But shout out to Push, man. Shout out to Push.
Shout out to Push and K.
But this ties into our segment.
Yeah, so it's a wind down segment. We have not had a wind down in a long time, so we decided to bring it back for celebrating the anniversary, and just because, like I said, we just needed to do a wind down. So, yeah, you really have. Like, you really ain't even say.
Relax, stop washing my glass, dog.
I mean, everybody can wash your glass. You just been going at it like it's water.
That's cool, but I don't need you calling it out. Damn.
Well, that's you. That's what you get for calling me out earlier.
Did I call you out?
Yeah,
Or
you
called
did.
yourself out?
Because you was going for it. I know what you was trying to do.
I wasn't.
Try to embarrass somebody all the time.
How's that embarrassing? You should be embarrassed in the black community for not seeing 5 Heartbeats, and that's a classic.
Anyway, I mean, can we toast before you chug the rest of it? God.
Nigga, you was the first one to crack yours open.
Yeah, but look where my bottle at.
And
What are we toasting to, John?
You tell us.
The Street University. Y'all want to introduce yourselves before we make a toast?
and the gang know who we are. It's Street University.
You gotta have some new
We
listeners.
coming.
You don't never assume. You may have some new followers.
Yeah,
We actually
listen.
did gain some new followers.
This is Ike Love, Street University.
Okay.
And for those that know the name, I appreciate y'all staying in the mix.
All
You
right.
know who you are.
When you see.
Elion Esteban Gonzalez. Listen, speak.
Yo, is that a new name?
He added on.
Just add, right.
Oh, I was like, yo, yeah.
Elion Esteban Gonzalez.
Y'all know who I am already. Leah, aka the
Papito.
therapist. Not Leah Bellis. I am Leah, aka the therapist for
For this segment.
For this segment.
And for this,
Yeah,
She
we'll
might be
get back
baby.
in. No, I'm gonna get back in the therapist bag. But what are we supposed to do, gentlemen?
105.
105.
How many
yeah.
years is this?
5th year.
yeah, 5th year for y'all, man. So, you know, shout out to episode 105, 7 years on here, 5 years for the gang. You know, yeah, big shout outs.
No,
Yo,
I feel
shout
like
out to the
5
bros, man. Big fucking shout out to the boys, yo. 111. I know how we do. Dogs out here.
So
When I say enthusiasm, that's what I mean, enthusiasm.
She don't know what that is.
She don't know what that
only
is.
for Nas.
But it is only
I
for
love
Nas.
Right.
Nas.
Only for Nas.
I love him.
Nothing else in life.
And he about to go to I hope I can go to that show, man. He
I'm
about
about to ask
to
you about that too.
Madison Square Garden,
I don't know
man.
if you got a Chase bank account, but they got early access to the tickets.
They already did, but now I think General's to the public went on sale today. But I think it's like $600 a ticket.
No, to the public. To 18.
Love it, Nas.
General to the public.
Oh, it's 18. Yeah, I see them ticket price of that, but I would love to. That'd be my 3rd time seeing
why
Nas
you
in
ain't gonna
concert.
go? So you're not a stan.
No, I mean I've seen him twice in already, you know.
Show
So
you go first.
I've seen him twice though. I gotta be. You been with
Show me
Nas, you
your
gotta
verse.
really sit.
You got eyebrow
Yeah,
right scratching.
Cause it itched.
God damn, what's interesting?
I can't scratch. Y'all stupid.
God
All right, but y'all all know people who watch the show, or just anywhere on social media. You see it all the time, Twitter, Facebook. We people, depending on what's discussed, everybody has opinions,
Mm-hmm.
right? C and I have talked about this opinions, but anyway, this person, this person said, "How can I stop sharing my opinions on things? I'm trying to adopt the concept of neutrality when in conversing with others. This could be work, associates, friends." He said, or she said, when in conversation with others. This could be work, associates, family, friends, etc. I simply no longer wish to share my opinions about things, but it's a harder task than expected to overcome. Do you have any advice that may help me through this transition? I find that having opinions in itself isn't a bad thing and should be encouraged, but I want to be able to keep my opinions to myself and, if possible, find a way to stay neutral in any conversation that requires a decision or opinion to be formed.
Man.
So this is hard because we are in an era where we share opinions, and a lot, myself included.
It's a lot of things that, you know, are discussed, but also at the same time, it's just kind of like, you know, you can share your opinion and not exhaust your energy into what someone may disagree with you on about your opinion.
Let's run that back real quick, because I feel like this individual is not so much that they don't want to share, it's like how can they be objective, which people have a hard time doing. Just called y'all out for objective.
I'm very objective on things.
No, you're not.
I definitely am.
I'm not biased. With Nas, but like I said, evident liking his music, when we talk about, there's nothing else to really talk about with Nas that I can really speak objectively on other than the music. And we all know Nas makes good music, but like, that's it. But anyway, so it's difficult for people to be objective when sharing opinions. And this person is pretty much just asking, like, how can I be neutral How can I still share my opinions but be neutral? And I feel like it's kind of hard to do when you have your own perspective, your own beliefs, and you're very passionate, and you feel like people are talking stupid. Because sometimes I feel like that. And while opinions can't be wrong, they can be invalid, and there's a big difference between the two. And sometimes when people, okay, for example, if I say, I think chocolate is better than vanilla ice cream, but I never had vanilla ice cream, that makes my opinion invalid. Do we agree or disagree on that? Before I go further.
I feel like a better example should have been when you said with the whole Gucci Man and Jeezy situation. That would have been a better example.
None of us is really there though, so we really do not know. Jeezy can say one thing, Gucci can say one thing, their associates can say one thing, but we were not there.
Now that's where you're invalid.
How am I invalid?
Because it's been talked about for so many years.
It does not
I feel like
mean
because
that
it was
you-
new to you.
But at the end of the day,
Because
how do
you
you know
only
it's
heard-
fact? How do you know it's
only
fact?
heard Jeezy.
How
Do you
do-
actually think
Okay,
that Jeezy
I
would sit
just
there on
said-
air and say,
Listen to me what I said.
yeah, I sent the hit out on somebody.
I just said, Gucci said his own stuff, Jeezy and his folks and associates said his stuff. We were not there, so we can only go off of what those people said. That does not make what we're saying fact. We can only say what we truly believe that these two people said. That's all I'm saying. Y'all like to say things on facts when y'all like, y'all were not there. How y'all know? Y'all know. But going back to my actual point that makes sense, because that's what you brought up.
That does make sense.
That doesn't make my point invalid. We were not there, so I can't say what's fact or what's not fact. Neither were y'all. So y'all can only go off. Y'all can say I truly believe Gucci or Gucci people.
Lee,
Just because it was talked about
where-
that does not make it fact.
This is where I'm gonna say you're wrong,
Oh,
because when
God.
we talked about it with you, you didn't even know that the niggas
What does
had
that
beef.
have to mean? And what we're
So,
talking about?
Because when Jeezy
Just
said
like-
it, you believed him immediately.
I said my belief. I didn't say it was fact. Believe.
You did.
No, I did not. I said I believe y'all were not there. What part of that don't y'all get? Y'all be speaking like, oh, well, because they said it gotta be true. How you know? Were you in Gucci house when it happened? No, it wasn't. Let me spin it back to my what I just said about what makes an opinion invalid. If you don't have anything to say, well, you never tried vanilla ice cream, so how can you even say what's better? That makes an opinion invalid. Now, if I tried both ice creams and I said, I think chocolate is better than vanilla, there's no fact to that. We can't quantify better. It's subjective, because how we define better can be very different for you, can be very different for you, can be very different for mine. That's what makes opinions just opinions. So to this person's point, it's very hard to be neutral, but I think if people are, Nas is the best rapper, he's the MC GOAT, and these are the reasons why I say so. And they give you information that you could be like, I can see that point. I may disagree and say Jay-Z may be the better rapper, and these are the reasons why, but that makes opinion more valid when you have some information that can support your opinion. And that to me, you can be a little more neutral in an opinion when you are trying to see both sides, and these people are presenting both information. Be like, okay, I can see that point. It makes sense. It's coming from like you're bringing information that's like, okay. That to me, how you can be neutral in a when you're having an argument, stating your opinions.
Why did you say that?
Go ahead and speak on it, brother.
I'm just gonna answer the question.
Brother, you ain't neutral. So I'm curious to hear your perspectives on this, because you don't even think opinions are wrong, but I'm gonna let you have the floor.
Well,
They don't need to listen to you. Go ahead.
well, let me answer it wrong. So I like the part when you was like, when you make an opinion and then you have facts to prove it.
I said information that can support. Nobody said facts. Information that you can support your opinion. Like, okay, I can see that.
Okay.
That's what I said.
So, are facts considered information?
Yeah, but a fact is a fact. We know we ain't getting this conversation yet.
No, a fact is a fact, but the question was, Is a fact considered information?
Yes.
Okay, so that changes nothing about what I just said, what you just commented on. But I like the fact that, you brought that up, because to her point, his or her point, I'm trying to adopt the concept of neutrality in my conversation. I simply no longer wish to share my opinions about things. I want to be able to keep my opinions to myself. There is power in shutting the fuck up. I just gotta, it's not hard. It's not that hard. There's power in words that are not said. Just like there's power in words that are said. Because sharing opinions on certain things can lead to problems that don't necessarily have to be. Sharing opinions to some people can lead to conversations or arguments, debates that don't have to be, because we know there's billions of personalities out there. There's billions of different outcomes out there that can come from this stuff. And the simplest way to not be in this position is to just not talk. It's not that hard. The same way you can respond to somebody without sharing an opinion or something like that. If they telling you something, oh damn, you know what? Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh, or yeah, you can do stuff like that, and it's cool for conversation. You can do all of that. Because if the issue, like this person is saying, is in you no longer wish to share your opinions about things, you really, literally don't have to.
But I think they want to find a healthy way to do so. So I want to get more of the context of why does person feel like they need to stop? Are they offending people in their opinions?
They probably can't. Or I mean, I can understand.
You can offend somebody with your opinion.
You can. But I do also understand that how arguing certain things, because again, when you are stating an opinion and you have certain facts that are presented, you have certain pieces of information that are presented, there are still some people that will just overlook that. Yeah. And then it's going to be like beating a dead horse. And
then, I feel like in that case, they just don't want to list. They just don't want to accept it as fact.
Listen. I've been there.
It's also conversations to where it's kind of like, y'all not really trying to have those uncomfortable discussions when you really think about it.
Information to support your opinion, just like when you were like, oh, I think Nas is the greatest rapper. You can present facts about Nas that can support that opinion, correct?
I can present information that I feel can support my opinion, because some people can argue my quote unquote what you say are facts. Because I'm presenting facts, that means that Nas is. I do. It's true. It's you can't argue a fact.
When I'm saying you can present facts, do you understand that I'm only talking about things that can be considered facts?
These are things that can only be considered facts.
When I say facts, I'm only talking about things that can be considered facts.
Okay.
So if I'm like, oh, Nas is one of the greatest rappers ever because he has this many number one albums. Let me finish. He has this many number one albums. He sold this many records. He's done this. He sold out these. Those are facts, right?
Sure.
They support my opinion and why I think Nas can be considered one of the greatest rappers ever, right?
I'm about to correct you. Not one of the greatest, because somebody can argue that with those.
They can argue that, but those are the facts that I'm using to support my opinion.
But just because just because they are facts doesn't mean it makes my opinion right. Right? No, I'm just making that point.
Why? Why are you making that point?
Because I feel like for people to not be neutral, it's harder to be neutral when people think like that. Like, because I'm presenting all these facts,
and that's why I said you can just not talk. Because if you want to not argue, because essentially that's what.
But we don't want him to be like. But I feel that's what I'm saying. I don't want it to be to the point the person feel like it's cool to have healthy debates.
The person doesn't even want to lend their opinion anymore.
Because I'm wondering, maybe like I said, are they being offensive? Are they not listening? Are they thinking opinions are wrong?
Either way,
that could be not. So you may not want to.
Even to that point, I presented facts and information about how an opinion can be wrong, and it wasn't accepted. So
see,
to
that would make
point,
me. That would make somebody not want to have a debate with you.
And to that point, that's what make me not want to have a debate with them either, because that's when you have the
some,
power to
some
just
people also
not
just
talk
or stuck in their ways. Like they just want to.
Exactly. That's why you just don't talk.
Yeah.
You just like, okay, cool.
Well, no, I mean, I think that per individual,
Especially if
it's
you
not
just
that goes
like,
without
oh, I
saying,
don't want to.
but
like
that
this
goes
person is
without saying, right?
Right.
Like he can just not, or she
Exactly.
can just not say anything,
It's
right?
very-
But I don't
it's
want to
very,
speak
very
on that
easy.
because that is self-explanatory. You can just not
It's that easy.
share your opinion, but if you want to engage in a healthy debate, I think is super important because some people live in
wants
their.
to engage in a healthy debate.
They did it. They started off by saying they want to be neutral. They want to learn how to be neutral.
Being neutral isn't engaging in a healthy debate. You're not debating if you're
Being neutral is absolutely engaging in a healthy debate. By you taking in both sides, that's being neutral and being objective. You can still honor somebody else's opinion and still have yours or not. What I'm saying is when people say their opinion as fact, that's annoying because it's just an opinion. You do that sometimes. That we want you got to be neutral.
Just did that.
How did I just do that? When have I ever said that my opinions were right?
Just finish what you said.
My whole point is like we can say to him or her, just not say your opinion, but to engage in a healthy debate, I do think it's important to try to gain more of a neutral perspective rather than saying how I think is right and you're wrong and that's it when we're talking about opinions. You can't even prove your opinion.
Okay, well, this person wants to no longer share their opinions about things, and they want to be able to keep their opinions to themselves.
And
So the best
if
way to do that
possible,
is not.
find a way to stay neutral in any conversation. So this person's like, I'm taking it like I feel like it's best for me, maybe because of the feedback I receive, to not state my opinion, but I want to be able to do so without feeling like I can't do it. That's how I'm taking what this person is saying.
I'm just taking what they say about no longer wanting to share their opinions about things.
Because they probably feel like they can't. And I'm trying to encourage the person, you still can, and this is a way that you can do
It
that.
also depends on who they're having conversations with too. Huh?
And no,
Everybody,
that's a
everybody
good
feels
point.
the need
Like-
to share their opinion, and sometimes
Because
it's
people
hard
are
for
going
them
to do
share
that.
the hell up.
Like people are going to do that, but sometimes it's just kind of like it could be a win-win situation or it could be a lose-lose, and it's kind of like even when you share your opinion, like people can really they hear one thing and just make it completely different than what you just said, and then they just go on and on and on, and now they're looking at you funny because of something that they thought you said when it was nowhere near anything that you said. So it's just kind of like some people don't listen. Some people, and you also have some people that just enjoy hearing themselves talk, like they feel like they know everything, and it's kind of like you don't.
That could possibly be this individual. That's what I'm saying. Like when he or she, I keep saying he for some reason. It's just giving me he vibes. They said this person probably states their opinions like they know it all, or like if it's fact and people are like no, and it's probably annoying, and they're getting this negative feedback and they want to engage in these conversations without being that person. So I'm like, I think it's important to at least try to see somebody else's perspective and not try to minimize their thoughts because you feel like what they're saying is incorrect when you are also speaking from an opinion. So that's what bothers me. I hate when we're both speaking about opinions, but somebody want to tell me I'm wrong. It boils me. Like, yo, how do you know you don't know shit? Excuse my language. Like, we both are just speaking opinions, and that's cool. But I think this person be like, you're right, I'm wrong. And I'm like, no, like this is probably this person. That's why, like, can I be neutral? Yes, by not thinking that you're right with an opinion. And taking the other person's perspective and seeing, does it make sense? Because sometimes people speak with just, they state their opinions, but it can be dumb. An opinion, in my opinion, can be very stupid. Like, what? That don't even make sense. So it's even hard to be neutral when it's like, that, how are you even how are you even coming up with that? Like, so.
How would
I just say an opinion can be like dumb?
Oh no, I'm just saying. You know, how would you Like, what advice would you give him?
Today, what I'm saying is, if they're coming from a perspective of I'm right when speaking an opinion, that is not being neutral. You're not right, because opinions can't be fact. They're opinions. So, to engage in a healthy debate, you can still certainly state your opinion, but okay, let me try to see the other person's perspective without trying to minimize their perspective because I feel like I'm right. That's annoying. You're not right.
Are we talking about
this individual? Because I am assuming.
Because in a debate, to stay neutral means to not pick a side.
And objectively, yes, you can be objective, so you can honor your opinion and still can honor theirs, but not come off like you're right. This is the energy I'm getting from this individual. Either they're being offensive to somebody when they're stating their opinions, it's unwarranted, or they're coming off like they know it all and they think they're right, and like, nigga, you're a person, you're not right. Like, it's just an opinion. So shut up. We both speak an opinion, so you ain't more right than me. And a lot of people, we see this on social media all the time, people be thinking they right about their opinions. No, you're not. It's just an opinion. You're no more right or wrong than me. When you come off like, no, this is fact and you're wrong, no, then that makes me feel like I don't want to talk to you. And this is what this person is probably getting a lot of negative feedback. So they're probably...
Or this person could also want to be that person that just loves to play devil advocate.
That's what a healthy debate is all about.
It's not.
It is. That's you could challenge thoughts. You could challenge somebody. I love to do it.
Depending on what the challenge is. If it's not warranted for a challenge debate and it's just like...
But that's what opinions are. So I can always challenge you because I may have a different perspective than you. So I'm challenging you to think outside of the box.
Don't want to share their opinion.
But I'm saying these are probably the reasons why they don't. So I don't want this person to feel like they can't do it. You just tell me to shut the F up forever. I'm not saying that.
I'm sure they will.
They don't want to share their opinion.
But they're probably feeling discouraged because they can't be neutral.
They ain't feeling discouraged. What they won't do.
How am I taking that out of context?
They just won't go to...
I'm trying to adopt the concept of neutrality.
Do you know what neutrality?
You just stated it. I need to be objective. Middle, just not taking.
I didn't say.
I'm saying that you're saying not taking sides, just in the middle. But what I'm telling that person is
just not picking a side.
This person probably does not do that.
So what?
That's what I'm saying.
How would you close it out and tell this person just?
How will we close it out? I say this. Well, he said just don't say nothing. Just shut up because all opinions are not warranted. And in some cases, no, but you're saying just you don't have to. This person saying they would rather keep their opinions to themselves. But again, I'm just taking like they being discouraged. They don't necessarily have to keep their opinions to themselves. Can they use better judgment and to discern like, is this appropriate to state my opinion? Because sometimes people state opinions that are inappropriate too. You know, like I said, in the 21 case, we're talking about celebrating Nas's, his album. You talk about him being irrelevant. That was an inappropriate opinion. It's not saying that he's wrong or right, but it was unnecessary. So in those cases, no. But if you want to engage in a healthy debate, which we do, I encourage this individual to try to see perspectives beyond themselves. And not, if they're doing this, I don't know if they are, not try to be like, I'm right and you're wrong, or what you're saying makes no sense and you're dumb. So, because people can be very condescending too. And that's another thing that could turn somebody off. Was like, well, how you even being condescending with an opinion? You ain't right. Like, what? That could also turn somebody off too.
It's a lot of stuff that don't make sense here.
Okay, well that doesn't make. I'm just bringing all types of variables of what's making this person.
I know, but
very understanding.
It's a lot of variables that are clashing with each other here.
Like what?
An opinion can be unwarranted. An opinion can be.
They can.
Stupid. An opinion can be. But also, opinion is an opinion, and it's none of those things.
An opinion. At the end of the day, an opinion is just that. It's opinion, but. I feel like I said, I gave an example why I feel like it could be unwarranted at times. Where it's like just because you have an opinion does not mean you
need to always be unwarranted, but it's
still an opinion.
But it's still an opinion.
Yes.
So
just because you have an opinion, it can be unnecessary for you to state your opinion. Not the opinion itself. You stating the opinion is unnecessary. Like I said, 21 can have his opinion about Nas. It was unnecessary to stay in that moment. We weren't even talking about relevancy. We talking about the album. So we didn't even, that opinion was unnecessary to even state. He didn't even have to say it.
He probably used the word
wrong. So you
wrong.
agree with me that you can just not
I've been agree with you 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, but I am saying if this person wants to, because what they're also stating, this is what they can also do if they just don't want to be quiet. If they want, because it sounds like they're not able to engage and have,
They do say that they don't want to.
But outside of that, because they are also saying they want to adopt the concept of neutrality, I'm also stating to this person how they can be neutral and when they're sharing their opinions. If they choose to, this is what you do. With all the things that I just said.
Okay. There you have it, Mixxeners. For that person, whomever it is, hopefully they take the advice. Hopefully they don't feel discouraged when it comes to having their opinions shared. All of that good stuff. I see how these opinionated conversations can get, ladies and gentlemen. Other than that,
they can, but don't get. Now, let me say one more thing on that before you tap out real quick. I need people to know because you have an opinion or you state your opinion and get heated. Hope some people take it personal. And I don't think you should take it personal. I argue with you all the time. I never take it personal at all. Like, and move on, be good, and everything is okay. But some people do, depending on how they're stating their opinions and what they say. So hopefully people are not taking it to heart.
Watch your tone.
Yeah.
Tone can always be a factor in it. But listen, man, this is episode 105. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you guys getting in the mix and rocking with us. Again, you know, Mixxversary, 7 years. This Thursday, November 17th. Shout out to the bros. 111 years, November 17th. Next week is Thanksgiving, so we are truly thankful for everyone. I'm thankful for y'all. I love you guys. It's your big dog, K6. Chi-Town's finest, Carlton, your dig, and your girl, Leah, a.k.a. Therapist. And always behind the scenes, holding things down, your girl, so effing classy, a.k.a. so effing glassy, a.k.a. so effing crafty. Until next time, we are out of here.
So you can title this album, Who Asked You? You'll have to put a question mark.
In the mix, in the mix, in the mix, Carlton.